been here before, I'll just explain a little bit about how we function. The meeting is in two parts. The first part are all public hearings. If you have any comments that you would like to make about anything on the agenda, you do so at that time. The second portion of the meeting is when we make our decisions, and there's no public comments taken at that time at all. We follow the agenda, except for tonight, number 2 is asked to be last on the agenda. They had something else they had to do at that time. Everyone that comments on an application must be sworn in. So all of our testimony is under oath. So number 1 on the agenda is Carlos Espinoza, 46 Camelot Road. You can come right up there and sit down. And Mr. Leahy will swear you in.
Mr. Espinoza, do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true or complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Very well.
Okay, now can you tell the board why you're here?
I'm looking for a variance to construct a minor pavilion in the grill that I have on the back of my house.
Is that going to be over top to cover the portion that you have like an outside kitchen? Is that what it's going to? Is that where it's going to be?
Grill. Yeah, an outside grill.
The outside what?
Grill.
Grill. Yes. You have like a whole kitchen area there.
Correct.
How far from the property line is that pavilion going to be?
It's going to be 3 feet from the property line.
And the kitchen thing what is that, like 5 feet or something?
The kitchen is about 5 feet, yes.
Okay. We'll go right around the board. Paul, you can start.
Thanks. The posts for the pavilion, they're a little bit inbound from the wall that's there, right?
Correct.
Okay. And how far is the wall from the sideline?
The wall from the sideline is 3 feet.
3 feet. So this is you're a little bit inboard of
Correct.
Of that. Okay. But there is an overhang on the roof.
That's correct.
Okay. But the posts, in fact, are closer or farther away from the sideline than 3 feet. Is that
Correct.
Okay. That's all I have.
I have no questions.
No questions.
No question.
No
Phyllis?
questions.
Yeah.
On here, the dimensions say that it's 14 by 20. That's about 280 square feet. Is that as big an area as you would, that's as big as you're going to make it? Or that's as big as it comes?
It comes bigger than that, but what I requested is 14 by, I think it's 14 by 20. I don't remember.
It says 14 by 20 on your sale paper.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And are you going to use that just to keep the rain and snow off that area?
That's exactly right, yes.
Okay, we did have one question, I think, for Lisa, and that was about 1 and 2, for 1 and 2 on the seeker. Even though we don't need it, she sent me a note about their back.
Right, if the board wants, you have 2 choices, since you don't need, it's a type 2 action, so you don't need an environmental assessment. So you can either have the applicant withdraw the form and just make it not part of the record, or if you prefer, you can just change to them to how they should be and have the applicant come up and initial the form so that it's correct in the files. So either way.
Anybody have did you get that, what the issue was? Okay. What would you like to do? Just let them initial it. Did you understand, sir, on the environmental assessment form that you filled out, even though it doesn't need to be in the record, it is in the record, so it needs to be correct. And you answered number 1 and 2 incorrectly. So we
They're
need.
backwards. You answered yes for one and no for the other, and it should be the opposite way as to whether you need a permit. The answer to that is yes, and whether there's a law that you're trying to enact, and the answer to that is no. So we just need you to, we're going to correct our record copy, and then we're
Okay.
going to ask you to come
Okay.
and initial it, okay?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, I have no more questions. Anyone else? Is there anyone in the audience that wish to comment on 46 Camelot Road? If not, can we have a motion to close the
So
public
moved.
hearing?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you can have a seat.
All right,
You
thank
can hang around till the end of the meeting, which may be a while later.
He's
or
gotta sign
just
that.
call,
Yeah, why don't you come on up and,
yes. Sandy has one that you can.
Just put his initials next to 1 and 2.
This will be later.
Sure.
Two right on the bottom. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
You can, or you could call in the morning.
We have a long agenda, so you're more than welcome to wait, or you can call me in the morning. And I can-
Yeah. All right, number 2, we're saving for last, so we'll go on to number 3. Christopher and Carolyn Fry, 199 North Grand Avenue.
Mr. Fry, do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay, Mr. Fry, do you want to tell us why you're here?
I'm just looking for a variance
What's
for a fence that I pre-installed before knowing of the code up both sides of my property.
Okay. We have 2 letters that have been sent in that I will read into the record. No, I put it right here. Okay, thanks. The first one is from Donna M. Chevrolet, to whom it may concern. I'm writing this letter in response to the request to the Town of Poughkeepsie Zoning Board of Appeals by Christopher and Carolyn Fry for an area variance involving tax lot number 6162-16-81391-0000, situated at 199 North Grand Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York. I am unable to attend the public hearing on June 12, 2017 at 6 p.m. due to my work schedule. Therefore, this letter will serve as my response. I am co-owner of the neighboring property at 201 North Grand Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York. I hereby object to the variance allowing a 6-foot fence that has been erected without a building permit. First, it was erected in the front side yard very close to our home and completely obstructs the view up the road. Second, it is unsightly, and I feel that this will have a definite negative impact on the value and sale of our home. All homeowners, from the time that they purchase a home, are aware that if the erection of a structure is planned on your property, you must check with the building department in the jurisdiction where your taxes are paid as to whether or not a building permit is required and what the rules are in completing the structure. Not responsibly observing these rules has led to a conflict. The town of Poughkeepsie maintains a country residential type setting. Fences in excess of 3.5 feet are prohibited. This policy avoids neighboring properties that are very proximal from being boxed in. Therefore, in conclusion, I object to this variance being granted due to the obstruction of view and the negative impact on my property. Feel free to contact me with any inquiries in regard to this matter. Sincerely, Donna Chevrolet. Secondly, I have another one from Cheryl Ann Jennings. Dear Zoning Board, I am here responding to the letter sent to me from the Town of Poughkeepsie Zoning Board of Appeals about the area variance requested by Christopher and Carolyn Fry at tax lot number 6162-16 1-81391-0000 at 199 North Grand Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York. I'm the co-owner of the neighboring property at 201 North Grand Avenue, Poughkeepsie, New York. I do not approve of the 6-foot fence that has been erected on the south side of the front yard because it obscures my sight in the direction of the high fence from seeing up the road, especially when sitting in the front yard. Plus, I believe that it will not be an encouragement in the sale of our property. So I do not approve of a fence higher than the 3.5 feet set forth by the rules of the zoning department. Sincerely, Cheryl Jennings. Okay. Now you want to tell us what it is you want to do and why you feel the need to do it.
I'd like to leave the fence in place.
All right, so you put it up, it's already there, when you put it up, did you realize that you needed something, or?
I had some security concerns, and I just, out of frustration, I put the fence up. I just continued the fence that was there up the property lines.
Yeah, because it appears that you have plenty of fencing in the backyard.
Yes, the
So-
backyard is fenced in.
So then you have to tell us why it is that you need that fencing in front.
Security and privacy. And it's not boxed in. I had Jay Baisley, the town supervisor, came and looked at it. I've been in contact with Michael Sapone. He was okay with it as well. He said to go ahead and file the variance, so that's why I'm here.
He told you that after the fence was up, though.
Yes, correct.
Can you speak into the mic? They're having a problem. Can you
Microphone.
speak into the mic, please?
Sure.
How do you feel that's going to be secure? It's not enclosed in the front. What are you securing from?
The side of the property line.
All you do is come around in front of the fence. So what are you securing?
Yes, but the access is not as accessible. You have to walk out and then around the fence.
All right, I'm a little confused, so go ahead, Paul, I can see you.
Have you had some problems that you want to talk about?
Specifics?
Well, you described a concern about security, so if you could help us understand what your concerns are. Have you had thefts there, or vandalism, or police calls there?
I have not, but that was my concern. I've come home from work twice and have found, I park a $50,000 camper on the side of my garage, and I've caught a kid running around it twice in between the camper and my garage.
Okay. And so do you know where the kid came from?
Yes.
Okay. Was an arrest made or a police complaint made?
No.
Okay. Any more than that one occasion?
It happened multiple times.
Okay. Over what time period?
It was about a week.
Okay. Was there any vandalism done?
No,
Any larcenies?
no.
Okay. And when did you put the fence up?
I want to say it was April.
Okay. And did you install it?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And do you know about how much the fence cost?
It was about $1,000.
For both sides? For
Yes.
each? Okay, for both
Yes.
sides.
Where do you park your camper?
On the side of my garage.
In that, where the item 4 is, or the stone
Yes,
is?
correct.
Okay. And how far, I saw where the stops were for it was for the rear tires. So how far does the camper stick out from, does it stick out past the garage?
No, it does not.
Okay. So let me ask you this. If the fence only came to the front of the garage, where the front of the camper is, do you think that would offer the same amount of security that you're looking for? And in fact, you could box the whole, you could close it in, so long as it doesn't extend past the front of the house.
I don't believe so.
You don't believe that you could, what?
I don't believe that. What was the first part that you said?
Well, would you be able to, if the camper doesn't stick out past the front of the garage, and the fence only went to the front of the garage, you wouldn't need a variance. You'd be in compliance,
Correct.
okay? So can you explain to me why you need that portion in front of the house?
The neighboring house has multiple vehicles that are parked all over the front yard. And I just don't want to look at it. It's not clean, it's destroying the property. It's just not pleasing to the eye.
Okay, well, all right, so that's a different issue. Okay. Now, on the other side, which everything's in front of the house, what's the issue with that?
I just ran it up the other side to keep it uniform.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
Art?
Yep. Why can't you move your existing pre-approved fence back a little bit so the mobile home or trailer can slide back and meet the requirements Paul was just talking about?
Push the camper further into the backyard.
No, I thought I understood you say that it doesn't extend past the garage.
It does not.
Okay.
Oh, okay. And you just don't want to take that part of the fence down from the garage forward because you're afraid somebody's gonna walk around it?
I'm worried about the camper, yes.
Why can't you do the same thing with a 3.5-foot fence, a legal fence?
Because we also wanted a little more privacy as well.
Yeah, but you're infringing on your neighbor's line of sight, et cetera. That doesn't.
Yeah, but there is no line of sight driving up and down the road and pulling out of driveways.
Well, when you're out there, if it was me, I wouldn't be real happy with what you've done. Because so you are interfering with their line of sight across. And they're parking in their front yard on the lawn or just?
On the lawn.
Call the town. It's against the law. It's easy. Just call. They'll be issued a citation and have to stop. So you don't need the fence for that. And the other side, I mean, there's really no reason at all to have the fence down the driveway side of the house, correct? Other than make it look equal?
Other than aesthetics and the fact that nobody lives there, it's just, the house is just dilapidated. Just didn't want to look at it.
I don't remember the house looking that badly when I was there.
I think so. How long have you been there? Have you lived there?
2007.
2007?
I'm done for now.
No, everything I'm concerned about has been asked and answered.
Carmen, do you have any questions?
So, would you be willing to take down some of the fence?
Yes,
You would,
yes.
okay. Because as we looked at it, there was just a lot of fence, and I'm not sure what the reason was for the second portion.
Yeah. He may have changed his mind a couple times.
Can I pop back in here? You just told me that you didn't want to take any fence down, and you told Paul the same thing.
Well, she said a portion of it.
Okay.
I
What we're-
I don't want to take it down, but I mean, if I had to, I would lower it to the 3.5 feet.
Okay,
Instead of just moving it back, even with the house, you could, as long as it doesn't go past the front of the house, you're in compliance.
Yes,
So if you took down the front portion, which is the part that most people object to because it looks almost like a stockade. I mean, you just talked about not wanting to look at your neighbor's cars, but people have to look at that fence. So I see that as a wash, you know. So would you be willing to just take it down totally to the front of the house? And you could park your camper behind there, it would be nice and secure.
I would prefer not to do that.
That's not the question.
Okay, well, if, the drift that I'm feeling from the board is that it's probably
Coming down.
not going to fly. Usually, when we approve a fence like this, there are a lot of other concerns, most of which is not aesthetics. So, Phyllis, I'm sorry, it's your turn.
Wanted to clarify, he could cut the fence to
He could.
3.5.
Yes.
And leave it exactly as it is.
Yes,
Just cut it
From the garage
forward.
Forward.
or the house forward?
to the road.
Right.
Okay, okay.
So either of those options would put you in compliance.
I don't have any other questions.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? If not, do you have anything?
People in the back,
Ed?
did you want to say something about this application?
No, they read my letter.
Okay,
Okay. Well, I have a question about the letter.
okay.
Do you mind coming up so I can ask you a couple of questions?
You have to turn that microphone,
Yeah, she wants
turn
to,
on.
or she-
Yes.
Yes,
Okay, do you mind stating your name and your address for the record?
Cheryl Ann Jennings, 328 Salt
No.
Point Turnpike.
Okay, I don't think the microphone is on.
Now it is.
Okay.
Yes. Cheryl Jennings, 328 Salt Point Turnpike, Poughkeepsie.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. So actually, you answered my question about where you live. Does anyone live at 201 North Grant?
No, not at this time.
Okay, when's the last time it was occupied?
About 2 years ago.
Okay. And do you know anything about the house two doors down on the other side of Mr. Fry's house?
Just that I knew the previous owners. And
You have to move move the mic up.
Sorry.
'cause-
I knew the previous owners, and I do know that other people have moved in within the last few months.
Okay. All right, I'm sorry, those were all, I just wanted to get an understanding of who was in the property and who lived there. Okay, thanks. Unless, anyone else?
Anyone else have anything they'd like to comment on this application? Do you have anything you'd like to add?
I do, yes. Nobody's lived in the house since 2007. Somebody rented it for about 8 months, but nobody's lived in the house since 2007.
They rented it but didn't live there?
They rented it to a young girl and her son for about 8 months. Those are the only people that have lived there, and they've been out for about 4 years.
I'm sorry, I rented it to a woman and a daughter. She was 2 years old, and it's only been 3 years that they've been out of the house.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
And I keep the house totally clean, landscaped and everything.
Thank you.
Do you have anything more?
No.
And no one else has any comments for this application? Okay, let's have a motion to adjourn the public
So
hearing.
moved.
Close or adjourn?
I'm sorry,
To close the public hearing? or
close the
adjourn?
public hearing.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Item number 4, Nancy Costa, 32 Winnie Lane. Costa, sorry.
Hi, can you state your name and business address for the record?
Certainly. Mark Olson, Olson and Partners, 319 Mill Street, Poughkeepsie.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide tonight will be true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Thank you.
Okay, would you like to tell the board why you're here?
We are here to ask for a variance to relieve my client of the required side yard setback for a 6-foot addition to the rear of the building and a 8-foot covered porch addition to the front of the building. Neither of the front or rear additions are proposed to go beyond the existing width of the existing residence. So we're keeping everything in kind. It's an existing cape, and We're looking to kind of stay with the existing architecture, changing siding, changing a few windows, but that's about it.
Okay, I have no questions. Paul, do you have any questions?
Thanks. The drawing that you provided, the only thing that's new is the front covered porch, is that correct?
Front covered porch, and I'm delineating the line of the 6-foot addition to the rear. Should be a blue line on the rear of the house.
Okay.
Yep.
And I understood from your testimony that it just continues the same width of the house?
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay. That's all I have.
Okay, Art,
No questions.
Tony,
No questions?
Carmen,
No questions.
Phyllis.
I'm fine, thank you, no question.
Okay, from my notes, it's a 10-foot, 2-inch variance.
It's a 10-foot, 2-inch side yard setback. So it would be, what is it, a 20-foot required side yard setback, so it's about 10 foot, yeah.
Okay, is there,
So the variance is actually for 9 feet, 10
10
inches,
inches, correct.
because the side yard setback is 10 feet, 2 inches.
Yes.
That is- If my math is right.
what I do, read it backwards?
Right.
You're supposed to kick me when I do something wrong. Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? If not, we could have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, you can hang out or call the office in the morning.
Oh, hang out, it's fun.
Okay, number 5, Tri and Ray Nigel, 29 Woodland Drive.
Can you state your names and address for the record?
Trey Wynn, 29 Woodline Drive.
Ray Wynn, 29 Woodland Drive.
Do you swear or affirm the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, can you tell the board why you're here?
I'm requesting a variance for a above-ground pool in front of a principal structure.
You have a very unusual parcel.
Yes.
Right. Agree.
Okay. I have no questions, it's clear to me.
Okay.
Your turn.
Take that.
All right, so we took a look at your property, and I think you indicated that some of the problems involved the layout of the house and the property line. There were some other areas that might be appropriate, except for you have septic over there and.
Yes,
and-
the fields, yes.
Okay, is that, so this is
The only,
only place, and in fact, I think.
you don't
a
want
re-
it any more forward.
A review of the properties in the area all indicated there are a lot of pools there, and there's not going to be a real big change in the neighborhood, is that correct?
Correct.
And you're pretty far back, so there's no real impact, is that correct? And
Correct.
as I recall, the property that is in front of your house, it's elevated somewhat, and then there's some screening, is that correct? There's some trees and.
Yeah, there's shrubbery, trees. And my neighbor, that neighbor you're referring to, he's here. And
Okay.
if you wanted to talk to him, but,
Okay, thanks, that's all I have.
Art,
okay.
I'm good.
No questions?
Carmen?
That is some lot you have.
Well, we bought it like that. It was made probably
Yeah.
15 years ago like that, so,
Right. Yeah. No, it's fine. Thank you.
Phyllis?
I have no question.
Okay, it appeared to us when we were out there that it was the only flat area on the entire lot where you could place a pool.
okay.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application?
Yes, there is.
Make sure it's on.
What?
The microphone, make sure it's on.
Oh, yeah. I'm Greg Fredman. I live at 31 Woodland Drive. I just.
Could you
here's for-
swear or affirm that
Oh,
the
sorry.
testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
Thank you.
I am the property that is, as you mentioned above, up higher. There's plenty of screening trees and stuff, and there's a fence between the yards, so it's no issue. So,
Good, good to know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Okay, could we have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
Number 6, Henry Graham, 7 Dakin Road. Moving right along.
Yes, we are.
Hi, can you state your name and address for the record?
Yes, Henry Graham, 7 Dakin Road, Wappinger Falls, New York.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, tell the board why you're here.
I'm here, I'm asking for a variance. I just extended my back deck, and I extended it, and it's just a little closer to the property line. It's about another 12 feet closer to the property line.
Nice backyard you got going on there.
I know. I know you remember, Betty.
Okay, I have no questions. Mr. Leahy?
Okay. When did you start on the deck?
Approximately 3.5 weeks ago. Approximately 3.5 weeks ago. I think it was.
So there's a 5/8/17 denial of your building permit. Is that before or after that?
No, that was before. That was before. 5/17?
5/8, May 8th this year.
Yes,
Your
yes.
building permit was denied.
Yes, exactly.
So did you start building before or after your building permit was denied?
I don't remember. Before, I believe it was. Right? Yes, before.
Okay.
Yeah, it was before. It was before because I came in and they denied it. So I had to come here and go through the motions here, and ask for the variance.
So your parcel is somewhat, it's pie-shaped, but in the opposite direction. She's back there shaking her head, yeah. Usually, when you say pie-shaped, it goes to the point in the back. Yours goes sideways.
Sideways, yes.
Yeah.
Mine's is sideways, exactly.
So your yard, your back rear line actually gets smaller as you move to the right.
Yes.
So the deck
Yes.
started out in compliance and then
It's closer. It comes up to about
the property line like moves up to it.
About 10 feet
Okay.
closer.
So on your diagram, you have 10 feet, but you have that in somewhere in the middle of the deck. So where's the 10 feet measured from?
The 10 feet measured from, it measures from the corner of the deck. That's where the lady at the town board here, at the town here, she just drew an arrow saying that it was 10 feet, but it's from the corner of the deck. In the
See, he's got
office.
here. So this
I forget her name, the young lady in the office. She was just trying to explain to me from here to here, it's 10 feet. I didn't write that arrow there. I didn't do that.
What did you submit to the building department for your building permit?
You guys should have all the paperwork in front of you. I gave them 14 copies of everything that they asked me for.
Is that this?
Yeah, but he gave us that, we didn't write anything on it. That's what he gave.
So-
This is what he gave the building. That drawing.
You should have a drawing up there.
I have a drawing.
You have the drawing? That, and also the drawing of the deck that I did, that I put up. Do you have that?
All I have is what's called site plan.
No.
What's happening here is the question is, if this 10 feet was from the middle of the deck.
Yes.
And your backyard goes in the pie shape like we just talked about.
Yes.
Then your variance would have to be greater.
Right.
So the question is where that 10 feet was taken from.
It was taken from the corner. You see, if you look on the site plan, that's in the middle of the deck, the arrow that the young
Right.
lady in the office drew. But it's from the corner of the deck to the property line.
Did you do the measuring?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did all the measuring.
He's talking about, he's talking about building. We didn't go
Right. What the board is having an issue with is the paperwork that you submitted to the building department in order to get your application initially that was denied for your building permit.
Yes.
We don't get a copy of that. So we only have the drawing that was attached to your application, which is the one piece of paper that says site plan.
It's a site plan.
So we don't have anything that shows us what was
Okay,
submitted to the building
I
department.
thought you guys did. I submitted, okay.
So
I
the
thought you had
applicant is
that.
testifying that he made the measurement and and when you say the corner, you're talking about the corner closest to
corner
the
of-
rear of your lot?
Yes,
So the deck comes no closer to the property line than 10 feet?
exactly.
Okay.
The corner. But I was under the assumption that you guys had the drawing from the deck that I built. Because I thought that was in the paperwork that I made 14 copies of.
What prompted you to go for a building permit?
It's the right thing to do. I wanted to make sure that I was in compliance with the rules and regulations of the town of Poughkeepsie.
Right, except for you started building before you got a building permit. So was there something that,
Oh, no. I didn't start building before, but it was taking long, it just took longer for me to come to this meeting, for this meeting to be scheduled in time when I was finished, when I can finish the job. So I completed the job, and then I came to the meeting. The meeting was set for this today, June 12th.
then let me ask it this way. When did you make your application for the building permit?
I can't remember, it was in
The
the middle of
application is
May. I
dated
think it was May.
5/8.
May.
Well, that's the denial.
No, the application is dated 5/8.
Well, it's denied on 5/8. And that's the application on the variance. My question is when you applied for the building permit.
Building permit.
At the same time I came in and it was denied. It was probably before the date.
I would think that
can't
you would
remember.
apply for a building permit before it was denied, so.
Yeah, I can't remember the date exactly. I can't
Well,
remember the
was
date.
it a short
exactly.
period of time or a longer period of time?
Before May 8th? It was probably a couple of weeks before May 8th.
Okay.
A couple of weeks before May 8th. So it could have been April?
Okay. Do you recall when you started building the deck?
Yeah, it was probably in May. May. I came and put the application in. Then I probably started the deck probably in May or June. It was a long time before the deck was even done. It took me about 3 weeks to do the deck. So that's why I can't, sometime in May.
Okay. All right, that's all I have.
So essentially, you started building the deck after the denial. That's what you just said.
Oh, did I start building the deck after that? No, the deck was already began. It was already began.
You finished building
But
the
I
deck
finished
after the
the
denial.
deck. I finished the deck after the deck.
Why would you finish it if you knew it was going to be denied?
No reason. I mean, I started working on it. Me and my brother was doing the deck. I had him up
That's not the
here.
question. The question is, why would you continue something that you knew was denied? Why wouldn't you just stop and wait for the approval prior to that? Rather than possibly tear it down?
No possible reason. I didn't think it was, I don't know. I just didn't think it was, I don't know.
You're kind of going in circles here. First you say you knew it was wrong, then you say you didn't know it was wrong. You started it here,
No,
you started
I'm
it
saying
there.
I started building the deck. Me and my brother started building the deck. When it was denied,
Exactly.
I continued on building the deck.
Exactly.
I continued on building the deck because we was already in the process. So then I asked for the variance to see it. But if I have to tear it down, I have to tear it down. There's nothing I can do.
Okay.
I'm sorry, if I could go back to me for just a second.
Yours.
Can you explain why you needed to enlarge the deck?
Because eventually I want to do an outdoor kitchen on the deck.
Okay. It won't fit on it wouldn't fit on the existing deck? It's a pretty big deck.
Right. Not the kind of kitchen I wanted to build.
Okay.
The dimensions and everything is too big for it.
Okay.
For the existing deck.
Would it have fit on a smaller edition?
Yes, I guess they do have a small addition, but the one that I wanted was a larger one.
Okay, I'm done for now.
Tony?
I have no questions.
Carmen?
I have no questions.
I have no questions, Betty.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? I guess not. All right, take a motion to close the public
So
hearing.
moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, you can hang out or call the office in the morning.
Okay, thank you.
Number 7, Evelyn Lazaro, 55 Boulevard, Knowles.
Hello,
Hello?
how are you?
Hi, do you mind stating your name and address for the record?
In here? Evelyn Lazaro Van Nostrand, 55 Boulevard Knowles, Poughkeepsie, New York, 12601.
Are you going to provide testimony, sir?
I'm just her husband.
Husband.
Come on here.
I'm here for moral support.
All right. Do you swear or affirm that everything you say is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
Yes, I do.
And he's just your husband?
Yes.
That's my rank.
Smart one at that, right?
Got that one right.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, tell the board what you'd like to do.
We're trying to get the variance to put up a 10 by 12 deck around the pool, a 15 round above ground.
Okay. When we were there, it seemed to me that your yard is quite small, so there wasn't a whole lot of space that you could use without a variance.
Right.
All right. Paul, you're up first tonight.
Thank you. It seemed to me that it might be easier to make the deck that goes into the side of the hill. Is there any problem with that? Some reason you don't want to do that?
I think that would be a little harder. I don't know, I'm not a builder.
Okay, who's going to do the work?
Probably my brother-in-law and my nephew.
Okay. It just seems to me that you might not even need a variance if you went right into that
The
side.
other way.
And, okay, that's all I have.
You done?
Yeah, when I said that's all I have, that's what I mean.
I don't ever trust you.
And then you'll ask something, then I'll ask something again.
I'm not gonna ask anything. I'm good.
Okay.
Tony?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Still there.
Carmen, do you have
No
any questions?
No.
Phyllis?
Are you gonna put it around the whole pool or just like half of the?
Just part of the pool. So the grandkids can go from the deck into the pool without the wobbly ladder.
I understand. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? If not, I'll have a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks,
Have a good evening.
You do.
Number 8, Edgar and Stephanie Lang, 15 North Jackson Road. Not here?
Nope.
No one here for 15 North Jackson Road?
Twice.
All right. We'll move on to public hearing, Marist College, 3399 North Road.
Ms. Chairman, I'm going to recuse myself on this.
Okay.
Thank you. Madam.
No way. Yeah, we have an easel.
I'll give me some, John.
Betty, is there something from the county?
Yeah, local.
I'm not sure. I thought he was embarrassed.
No, but he hasn't moved.
Unless this one.
Okay, would you state your name?
Good evening. Yes, my name is John Andrews. I am a licensed professional engineer. I'm a principal with the firm of Rohde, Soika, and Andrews, located at 40 Garden Street, Poughkeepsie, New York, and I'm here appearing on behalf of Marist College.
Okay, Mr. Andrews, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be advised that you are under oath, and any false statements made by you are subject to perjury pursuant to the laws of the state of New York.
I understand.
Mr. Leahy can do the short version. I only know the long version.
That's fine. Not my first time here, so I understand it. Probably easier if I take the microphone to just give you a brief.
Did it go on?
No, it's not wanting to work. That's okay. I can do it sitting down. Marist College proposes an addition to the existing steel plant studio. I think you're all familiar with the existing steel plant. It's on the east side of Route 9 heading north. It directly abuts the Route 9 right-of-way, so it itself owes its existence to a number of variances. Marist is proposing an addition on the south, the east, and the north side.
You need for him to wait one moment. He's going to try to fix it for you.
Okay.
Look at that, on-the-spot support.
Wow. I'll have to let the planning board know. They'll be jealous.
See that?
That's not a good thing.
Oh. Look at that. All
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Think about.
As I said, we're proposing an addition. The blue existing steel plant studio, the red is the proposed addition. This is a uniquely shaped piece of property. Your zoning administrator has made a determination that we actually have two front yards. We have a front yard running and abutting Route 9, which extends from this point all the way south and around the corner. We also have frontage on Beck Place up here. So we have two front yards. As a consequence of, now involved in this action are four separate properties today. One of them is the former Beck Place right-of-way that Marist acquired from the town of Poughkeepsie a number of years ago. The balance are other scattered properties that they have accumulated through the years. We are consolidating those all into one parcel. That is the parcel that's outlined in yellow. Even with that consolidation, we require two variances. We require approximately a 40.5 feet variance in this area where we only have 9.5 feet. And then this other front yard, we require a 32-foot variance because we only have 18 foot. The purpose of this expansion is Marist is going to do is consolidate their arts and their fashion program into one building. That will allow us to take fashion out of Donnelly Hall, where it currently resides, and free up a lot of space. It will also allow us to expand the offerings for the students. We are not increasing population, it's just giving us more space. The reason that we're putting arts and fashion together, I think is relatively obvious. It's the synergy of those two departments working together. They will share gallery space, they will share drawing space, they will share workspace, and we're hoping to improve both programs. Marist's fashion program is one of the largest at the school, and the space is desperately needed. As you're all aware, we recently completed the Natural Science and Allied Health building across the street. So what we're doing is creating a new academic node at this end of the underpass. We'll be mirroring a lot of the facilities, the courtyard and other things that you see at Natural Science will be mirrored over here. There will be an internal winter garden inside this building, and there will be a small cafe. Other than that, it will be typically classrooms, actual workspace, fashion production space, and one of the unique features is if you've ever been to Marist, their fashion program now offers some of their undertakings for sale. They have several small kiosks inside of Donnelly Hall. We will be doing away with those kiosks and actually creating an emporium, an actual sales space, which again will be an enhancement to the program because the students will be able to run it, be able to learn the business end of fashion merchandising, etc. So the whole building will be put to that use. And as I said, we've looked at various alternatives. There's no good way to do this because of the shape of the property. Everything is orientated inward. We will be maintaining the architectural integrity of the Steel Plant Studios, that kind of rustic industrial look. We'll be expanding that around the front. It will not be what you see on the other buildings. It's not going to be the granite, et cetera. It's going to be more of an industrial brick and high-end industrial look. We are currently in front of the planning board for site development plan approval. We are on for Thursday night. They did circulate for lead agency. You cannot, unfortunately, take any action until they act and close seeker, even though this is a type 2 action. But I wanted to get in front of you, and if there was any comments or other things that you needed to make to the planning board, we wanted to make sure they get there. Now, having said all this, there is one, and it happens forever on Marist College. The architects continually move on these projects. So I found out this afternoon at about 3 o'clock that these numbers might change a little bit because they've enhanced the architecture and they've added some overhangs and other things. So until they settle down, I know I have to come back. They may come back with slightly different numbers, but by maybe plus or minus 2 feet. I don't know for certain, and I won't until I get the final numbers from the architect. But I figured I owed you the courtesy to let you know. It's not the first time this has happened. I think you may recall one of the buildings we came back for an inch because they changed it on us. So.
Well, we can't vote on it tonight anyway, so by the next time, next
I will have
month,
firm numbers,
you will have the
know
numbers by then.
You will know exactly what you're going to be working on.
Good, very good, thank you.
Thank you very much.
What I would like to do, though, from a legal standpoint, is if you are going to ask for an increased variance, just so that we have the public notice clear, let us know as soon as you know.
I will do
and
that.
then we'll put it in the public notice at least in the agenda and on the website for next month's meeting.
Not a problem. As soon as I know, I will get an amended set of documents to Ms. Lane, and we can go from there. I expect it will be no later than next Wednesday.
Okay, and just so you know, from the county, it's a matter of local concern.
Thank you.
Okay.
Express-
Mr. Grace, do you have any questions?
I do. I'm not sure I heard it correctly. Is the steel plant coming down? You're going to encapsulate it?
The steel plant is actually staying, that portion of the steel plant. The back wall along Route 9 and the other facades. If you're familiar with the steel plant, there's a canopy on this side. That canopy is coming down. A portion of that wall will remain inside the building. They'll dress it up, take it down. This back wall will all remain. If you've ever been in there, there's offices and other things in this vicinity. They're going to stay. We're relocating the door. Right now, the door exits out into nowhere against Route 9. We're moving the door to the north end. It will exit out. We have a pathway for emergency egress so people can go out. This wall will remain the steel plant, and then inside, these walls will be enhanced. They'll be altered, but bits and pieces of them will remain because this is the main gallery. There's another sub-gallery, or all those will stay. So we're basically wrapping this and then dressing up, refurbishing the whole interior. When they're all done, you won't recognize it, but it will still be the original walls and structures.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
Tony?
No questions.
Carmen, do you have any questions?
No questions.
Phyllis?
The part of the steel plant that you're saving, are you going to add on top of that, or is it going to, the current height is the current height?
The addition is 2-story, but the steel plant that exists is going to stay 1-story. So the south and east sides will be a full 2-story facade. The west and north will be the existing 1 high story that you see.
So the part of the building that's closest to Route 9 is going to primarily remain 1-story?
It will remain 1-story. The only thing we're doing there is probably replacing all the windows with more energy efficient windows, and we will be taking off and replacing the roof with a new roof. But what you see from Route 9 will stay.
Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? If not, can we have a motion to adjourn the public hearing?
So moved.
Adjourn it because we're going to, okay.
Oh, right.
To July 10th.
Because we're going to come back with new numbers.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And one recusal.
I almost forgot, I know.
Okay.
Okay, do we have,
North. Thank you.
Number 2?
North Jackson.
yeah, Lacrosse Properties, 134 Violet Avenue.
Good evening. My attorney isn't here yet, but I texted him and let him know that I'll be presenting the matter. My name is Fred Zinn. I'm president of Lacrosse Properties, the vested owner of the property subject to this application.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you provide tonight is true and complete to the best of your knowledge?
I do.
Very well.
Okay, could you tell us what's happening with this parcel?
I'm applying for a variance, area variance from the town zoning code to allow a portion of a fence to remain in a front yard at a height of 6 feet, where fences in excess of 3.5 feet are prohibited. The property is located at 134 Violet Avenue. It's on a corner lot. The fence that was placed replaced a previously existing chain link fence that was 5 feet tall. The new fence was put in the identical location. It's a corner lot, as I mentioned. It sits above the other surrounding properties, so it doesn't interfere with any of the neighbors. The reason the fence came up is this property is directly across the street from Copapella's restaurant. My 19-year-old daughter lives in the house while she's attending Dutchess Community College. Often people come out of the restaurant, sometimes after having a few beers. They'll stand in front of the house. It's a nice grass area, and she lives there, and it's very uncomfortable for people to be staring in to both her backyard and through the family room of which she spends most of her time. The fence also, while the prohibition talks about being in front of the house, because this house is set it on a corner, set at a 45-degree angle, it's pretty much the side of the house. The fence does not extend in front of any building. It follows the line of the house. I can't recall if the application included any pictures, but I do have a picture of the fence, if you would like me to.
We've probably all been out there.
I'm sorry?
Probably
you've all seen it.
everyone's been out there.
Okay, and then you would have noticed that the type of fence is not the cheap stick fences. It's a lateral fence, and I try to make it aesthetically pleasing as possible. I'm trying to fix up the house, make the area look nicer, and mostly it was for safety reasons. Also, she has a dog, a pit bull, that she is a rescue dog, so it's very hyper, and we're just scared of anybody ever coming up trying to put their fingers through the fence to try to pet the dog.
Well, they're not going to put fingers through this fence.
Well, not the fence that I have now, but the prior fence was a chain link fence. It was one of the reasons why it was replaced.
Okay, Mr. Lee.
No, I don't have any questions.
My turn? Thank you. As you're looking at the house, the right-hand corner, that fence is well over 6 feet. That's gonna be about 10 feet tall. Where it's up on that cement pad.
Are you talking right next to the house? Or if you go towards the neighbor's house?
No, if you're looking at the front of your house, right, you're parked on Van Wyck.
Right.
Looking at your front porch, you look over to the right where you got that, where it says decorative and hydrant.
Okay, the wood area, I mean, if you're measuring where the roof is, which sometimes is
No, I'm not measuring the roof,
distorted.
I'm the top of the fence. From the
The top
ground.
of the fence.
The ground to the top of the fence, so you have an abutment that's probably a foot
Okay,
tall.
the wood itself is 6 feet tall. It is sitting on a cement
Like a wall.
support because of the slope of the hill.
So that
At one
fence,
point of where the dirt first touches the hill at the beginning of the slope, it's 6 feet. But what makes it from the ground to the top of the fence, you are correct, it might be more than 6 feet.
way more than 6 feet.
I don't think there's more than 1.5 or 2 foot.
You're talking close to 8 feet.
But I had planned on bringing in fill because of the slope, to remove the slope, and so the dirt goes up to the bottom of the fence because the hill's on a slope. So what I would do, rather than the hill sloping down, I'd extend it out so it is not as steep of a slope, so at all areas from the dirt to the top of the fence will never be over 6 feet.
You're gonna bring in 2+ feet of fill.
I'll bring in as many yards as necessary.
I have to think about this next.
Tony?
No, I have no questions.
But the goal is to make it as nice as possible.
Oh, it's a nice fence. There's no doubt about that.
Carmen, you have any questions?
Oh, if I could just make one comment, the issue of the slope going down, which we did look with the contractor when we were building the fence. Right now, there's 2 levels to the fence. We did think of putting in a 3rd level, but once again, people, they've come that stand on the lawn and look in. Because of slope, they then have just an easy look, but it's so close to the side of the house, close to the window going into the house. If the fence were any lower, then they just stand right on the dirt and look right through into the house. And their police reports have been made about people coming over before.
So people actually cross 9G to go stand in that little grassy area?
It comes from 3 sources, the traffic on the grass area in front of the house. 1 from the restaurant, 2 from people walking their dog, and the sidewalk ends halfway down the property. So people will then turn around and walk around to start going back. And the 3rd source of problems is on the same side of the street as a restaurant, 2 houses down, is, I don't know if it's a fraternity house, but there's a group of like 10 or 12 college kids that live there. And they'll come out and they get rowdy sometimes. I put up a sign with a street number and a little light on it. That's been kicked over several times. And it's just really a comfort for my 19-year-old daughter.
Are there window coverings on those windows?
Beg your pardon?
Do you have window coverings on those windows to help alleviate the peeping toms, if you will?
Yes, we do. But there's also the patio right outside the windows. I had to replace the window. I got the shades that are made inside the window to try to help. But sometimes, they do like to get a little bit of air in.
That's true.
So part of your problem is the fact that it goes uphill.
Yes.
All right. Do you have any other questions?
Not right now.
I guess my question is, what can we do to still give her privacy and to bring the height down somewhat?
Bring fill in.
That and that.
Bring the land
You're
up,
okay
try to
with
bring the
that?
height down.
You're okay? You okay with that?
I'm better with that than I am with.
Okay.
The height issue, I guess, if necessary, may I hand this to you, this one picture?
We can
There is a
pass-
photograph in the
We have
in
it.
the file. But
It is.
I don't know if it's the same one he has
I
on.
think it's, yeah, well.
Oh, yeah. It's not the same one.
It's gonna be. It's gonna be 10.
As you can see, there's a step down on it, the fence.
Pretty
Possibly that last section, that step down, I could possibly move it down a foot if you think that is a problem. The only aesthetic issue is that would then have a greater variance for the next, and it kind of stands out. I try to have it blend in as smooth a line as possible.
Where are you talking about putting the fill? On both of those sections?
If you can see the cement
The 2 steps?
steps there, it would filled so, and then I would have to so it doesn't create a new slope between the fence. I will have to go down towards the tree and to have a very gradual slope. And if I have to go halfway down the lawn, I'll do that.
In the picture that you just gave us, how high is the part that's lower?
How high is what, ma'am?
The fence, how high is it? How many feet is it?
The wood, from bottom of the wood to the top of the wood is 6 feet.
So the differential is down here.
Oh, yeah.
It's the platform that it's built, all the panels are 6 feet.
So if we granted the variance with the condition that you
Regrade.
regrade it, that would,
Within reason.
Sure, I'll gladly
Within
do
reason.
that.
I mean, you don't have to bring 1,000 yards of fill, but.
you said you'd be glad to do it.
I beg your
Okay.
pardon, I didn't hear the gentleman.
No,
No, I mean, you're not gonna bring in 200-300 yards of fill, but if you can bring it up to where you're saying, to the top of that abutment, that cement, where the cement break is.
Yeah, that's
would-
a fair
would-
request.
That would make it a little less obvious, I think,
maybe some shrubbery on the
something.
roadside to break it up so it doesn't look like such a
I had planned
big
on
barren-
putting on shrubbery anyway this summer in front and various places of the fence, but I wanted to stop until this issue was resolved.
That would definitely help, so it doesn't look so stark.
Something with briars to keep the peepers out.
Yeah.
So where
Yeah.
would you want shrubbery throughout
Somewhere
the whole
along,
length?
like along in here, so
Yeah.
it doesn't look so big.
Yeah,
and-
no, definitely
Yeah.
that was planned.
Okay.
Pass it on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone in the audience that wishes to address this application? Okay, can we have a motion to close a public hearing?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, can we keep this for the record, this photograph right here? Okay. Thank you.
North reaction.
Okay.
Could ask again, see if
For,
they're-
is, Edgar and Stephanie Lang here, 15 North Jackson Road? Should we can we just adjourn it till next, if they're not here? Okay, so I make a motion that we adjourn item number 8 to July 10th meeting.
So, second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay.
Sandy, maybe you could send them a letter and let them know that if they don't appear at the next one, the board will dismiss it for failure to appear.
Okay, do you guys need a moment, or are you okay to keep moving?
Keep it going.
Keep going.
Keep it going. I heard keep it going. All right.
We're on a roll.
Okay, Mr. Espinoza's in here. Tell me who's here, Sandy. Fry.
He's not here. Costa is here.
Nancy Costa, 32 Winnie
Lane.
Lane. Okay, Mr. Olson was here. This is,
So the side lot variance is only requested because they're putting an addition on the front and the back. There's no additional impact to the side yard, as I understand this application.
right, that, I agree. It's something that is done typically in the town, almost everywhere. They're taking older homes and redoing them and making them bigger and, so that people can stay in their homes or enjoy, bigger families. Does anyone have any comments besides that? You okay?
No.
Paul, you want to make the motion?
I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 4 to This is based upon a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, and the results of site visits by board members. In approving this variance, do you have the 5 criteria?
Oh, they're on the application, they're on the application. The,
Right. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood. This is simply in addition to the front and rear and doesn't really impact on the side lot other than those additions. So I don't think there'll be an undesirable change.
There's, if you want them there, 1 through 5.
Whether it can be achieved by some other method. I don't see that any other method, even if they made it less than the width of the house, it's still going to be an impact on the side lot. I suppose it's substantial, but it's the same setback as the existing house. And I don't believe it'll have any adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions. And although it may have been self-created, it's not, doesn't preclude the granting of the area variance. And so I would move to approve this.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? You're good.
Here's Woody Lane. So there's 6-0?
6-0.
5, 6.
Okay.
Okay, number 5, Tri and Ray Nugent, 29 Woodland Drive. Okay, what do you guys, this is really well screened.
Yep.
The house sits sideways on the lot, and even though it's going to be in the front yard, you wouldn't notice it if you drove past the house.
Someplace else to put it.
It's totally hidden, and they really don't have anywhere else to put it. The backyard is shallow.
The relationship to the house next door means that there's really plenty of screening there.
Yes, there's plenty of screening there. So, Art,
Betty?
would you like to make the motion?
No. I move that the board approve the request for an area variance forth on item 5. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, results of site visits by the board members. In approving this variance, the board adopts this, we don't have any findings, right?
Oh,
Correct.
yeah.
So moved.
Well, you have to make some findings.
Okay. What?
You have to make some findings.
I do?
No, there are some,
There are?
yeah.
Well,
On page 3.
Okay, where are we? By installing above-ground pool, blah, blah, blah. No undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood due to the site of the pool. Will not create a detriment to the
adopt those
neighbor's
ones that
property.
are in the application?
Yes, I'd like to adopt items
Yes.
1 through 5. in the findings.
And I would like to add to those that the house sits sideways on the lot and that the area is very well screened.
You can't see it from the road.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
I didn't hear you, I'm sorry. All in favor?
aye.
Opposed? Okay, good.
Number 6.
Build it.
Number
We're
6.
gonna come over and swim. Where are we?
Then you can go to 2.
Where are we?
Oh, good. Number 6, Henry Graham, 7 Dakin Road. There we go. This is a rear lot variance. And the deck change. This is the one that the parcel is pie-shaped, kind of like sideways. So his rear line gets smaller the further to the right side of the yard you go. Anybody have any comments on that?
I do.
Yeah.
Same as I said earlier, I mean, he knew he was in violation, he continued to build. I think it should be made legitimate and make it smaller. He's agreed that it should be smaller, he's agreed he can do it, he knew he was in violation the entire time he was building. He took a shot. that we're going to approve it.
In addition to those sorts of violations, his testimony was that the existing deck, he intends to put an outdoor kitchen, which the existing deck was too small. Without seeing what that plan is, I'm not really comfortable in seeing what the benefit to him is without knowing exactly what his future plans are. So, I mean, if he came back with a future plan about what exactly he wanted to do, my concern is that if you approve this deck, and then he doesn't need to make his plan for the deck, that may have adverse effects on the environment, and that's my concern.
In what way would that have an adverse effect?
On the neighbor.
Well, if his outdoor kitchen is so big that he needs to double the size of his deck, it seems to me that that would have an adverse effect. But since I haven't seen any plans for what that kitchen is, I don't think that we can make a determination about what the effects are going to be.
Do you want to adjourn it and have him come back and tell you what?
Close the public hearing.
Oh. Well, then that won't work. So
I mean, if the board wanted to, at this point, you're noticed, we can, you can make a motion to either reopen or continue the public hearing for that testimony, if the board were so inclined, and what I would just ask Sandy to do is notice it officially for next, so that it's, as opposed to a closed public hearing, it would be noticed in the public record as a...
Well, when I think about it, he testified that he hopes to do that, but he doesn't really know when he wants to do that
Paul just said.
either.
That's what Paul just said.
Well, I know, and
We're going into this blind.
well, the other thing is, there's really no one behind him that it's going to impact.
There's a house right behind it.
Right.
There's a house right there.
Yeah.
On the other side of the property line, there's a house. Yes, there is.
Yeah, I
And he's
suppose.
higher and gonna be closer. So if he's gonna put in a massive outdoor kitchen, if you will, what's that gonna do to those, we don't know what it's gonna do to those people.
I don't know. I don't know what a massive outdoor.
Neither do we.
I don't know what it is, but apparently it needs to
either.
double the size.
Right, and that's not really on this application, so.
It's not on the application, but part of our analysis is whether the benefit to the applicant and compared to the detriment to the environment, and I don't know that there's enough information to make that determination based upon the testimony that he provided.
Paul, I still don't understand the detriment to the environment in this. particular-
Environment would also be the neighbor.
Pardon me?
Could also be the neighbors, not just the
Yeah,
environment,
well-
it's the neighbor. Do you want something that big right up against your property line with probably a possible kitchen out there with party? It's like any other deck or thing we talk about, the privacy of your neighbor.
I didn't see an issue with it myself.
It was built knowing he was in violation, continued to build it, was told not to build it, he built it. It's up to us to act on that, I think. It's part of our job, I think, unless I'm wrong. Right, if you're told not to do something and you do it, you're in strict violation of what was.
Technically, that's a zoning enforcement issue as opposed to one of the 5 criteria that the board should, what Paul raises as the benefit and the balancing test, that's what's before this board. So
So you're telling me that a violation of a stop order essentially, it's not something that we.
I don't think you can punish him just because he violated all the rules. But my concern is that when I asked him what the reason for the expansion of the deck was, because he had
permit.
further plans for a major outdoor kitchen that apparently required the doubling of the size of the deck. So that's my concern. And that information isn't before us, so I don't believe he's provided enough information for us to make a determination about what the detriment to the environment is going to be compared to his benefit. Right now, it's just a deck of which there is no benefit, so it's encroaching significantly on the neighbor's side lot yard. And even though there doesn't appear to be any objection from that neighbor, that's really our role.
You mean the rear?
Yeah,
The
well,
rear,
it's rear yard,
that's
that's right.
75 feet on one side.
Right, it's
On
like the
that
rear
side.
lot line,
Right.
right, sorry. And that's my concern. I am troubled about these people that build things and then, particularly after they've been denied, but I think our analysis deals with the benefit, his benefit, comparing or weighing his benefit against the detriment
Right.
and the impact to the neighbors. And based upon his testimony, that's my concern. And so I would vote against it.
And anyone else?
I agree with Paul.
I think it's fair with what Mr., I'm sorry.
Graham.
Graham. What Mr. Graham brought up, I think it raises questions as to what exactly is going to end up there. I think it also, if we were ever going to want to be making any adjustments or recommendations to how that deck should be resized, I think it would be better to have this drawing a little bit more complete with the lines. 10 foot, he's saying it's not 10 foot where the line is, it's 10 foot from the corner. I'd be kind of curious to see a couple of those dimensions to see how that angle does affect it, because if we were going to make a recommendation as to how to change that deck, I think we're doing it blindly right now, with the drawing the way it is right now. So I think that would also be necessary for us to.
Well, he testified that it was from the corner.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to take their word that.
Yeah, but since it sounds like we're going to have to look at this a little more closely, I think it'd be a little bit more complete to at least have a distance from the left end of that deck as well as the one that's closest to the property line.
Well, the left end of the deck doesn't need it at all because of the pie shape. This end of the deck is considerably.
Based on this drawing, I don't think that left end of the deck is 30 feet from the property line.
But it just needs the maximum. So the closest one to the property line is really all that.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So technically, the public hearing is closed. The board is not supposed to accept additional paperwork documentation. However, because certain materials were submitted to the building department, the board can request those from the building department and take a look at them. You have 62 days from the closing of the public hearing in order to make your determination. So if you want to defer a determination on this and ask for the planning board files so that you can see the documents that were referenced, you can certainly do that. Alternately, what you can do is to make a motion now to reopen the public hearing and ask the applicant through this public forum, not directly, but to provide you with the additional documentation. Or you can flat out, it seems like you have at this point 3-3.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I can't even say that, but at least 3 negative votes. So procedurally, you have a couple of issues because the public hearing is closed.
So we can defer till next month and then get the paperwork from the planning board. And
I don't
know if
help me in my.
that'll be the answer that you're looking for.
Put it on there.
Right, well, let's say it is 10 feet from the corner. That's not changing my concerns.
Okay.
So I would not agree to get additional information. I was interested in it when he testified because it was confusing to me. My concern originally was that he was not asking for enough of a variance, but through his further testimony, my concerns have changed about the impact.
Okay, so, Carmen, how do you feel?
I would like him to come back with more information.
Well, in that case, we would have to reopen.
We shouldn't vote on him.
So in that case, I think the board should make a motion to reopen the public hearing since it's part of the same meeting. And then we will have a continued public hearing next month. We will ask the applicant to provide additional information concerning his proposed uses for the deck and particularly additional information concerning the kitchen or other outdoor grill or however you want to describe it that he wants to use the deck for. And perhaps the applicant might also want to propose alternate, whether there's something that could be done to make the deck less nonconforming, whether it could be slightly shortened, or reasons why, if that's not possible, why not?
Okay.
So that, because what the board really needs to do is weigh the benefit to the applicant against the detriment to the area, which includes the neighbors, the side yard setback, and what he's asking for right now is 10 feet where 30 is required. So it's definitely a substantial variance that's being requested.
Okay. I make a motion to reopen the public hearing for item number 6. Thank you.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Nay.
Opposed? All opposed.
So it's 2 noes?
I heard one. Who's the other no?
Only one.
Oh, there's just one?
Just one. All right, so now we can just open that for next.
That would be a continued public.
And adjourn it to.
Well, it's, right, we reopen now and then we'll move to adjourn for next month. right?
Okay, and
Thank you.
I make a motion that we adjourn item number 6 to the July 10th meeting.
Should we also, just so we don't run into exactly the same situation we're in right now, and I think Paul's right, because of the testimony that he provided, there may be some other issues like the size and the breadth of this kitchen. Should we require that he also bring, his plans? Because
Right.
if we don't do that, then we're going to be doing exactly the same thing 30 days from now.
Right. Well, the applicant is listening to this testimony, and I think it would behoove him to bring whatever paperwork next month, and actually to provide it to the board before next month so that we have a chance to look at it. And then we'll be able to address it at next month's meeting. And if the board doesn't feel that the materials that are provided are adequate, the board can either continue or deny at that point.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes, you may.
But I would be by July.
Oh, she has to have the paperwork by June 22nd to have it in the package for the next meeting.
If this is going to be a outdoor kitchen similar to what the gentleman earlier has, the existing one that
I did or
that
didn't?
wants the awning,
You made the motion.
do we have to worry about lighting and stuff? Is that something we have to address? It's gonna be,
No, anything like noise, lighting, electricity is a matter for the planning department. However, if the plans that are, what this board would consider is the noise effect on the neighbors or the lighting effect on the neighbors. To the extent that they are provided, that would be something that the board could consider. And you could certainly ask the applicant about plans for any PA systems that might be outside the usual.
okay. Thank you.
All right, we need a second. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
I'm okay with it.
Oh, you're okay with adjourning?
Oh, you're-
Okay.
no. What's the point?
Well, true. Okay, so you understand? Okay. Okay,
Number 2.
La Crosse Properties, 134 Violet Avenue. I lose it.
Which one is it?
Number 2.
Across the fence.
Oh, okay.
Fence.
Okay, all right, so,
So, even though there was some comments about the height of the fence and stuff, this is really only an issue because it's a corner lot,
right.
okay? So,
If I lived there, I think I would have some of those issues as well. Not to mention that in today's world where people are always driving and using their phone at the same time, a lot of people go off the road, and that's one of those places right on the corner that would be easy to.
right, but my concern was about being concerned about the actual height of the fence. In the past, we've been concerned about fences, 6-foot fences on mounds, on 3-foot mounds. Here, because it's simply a corner lot, and the real issues there are site and stockade type things, or blockage, making I don't think that those exist here, so I don't think we need to make any conditions that he has to bring in a lot of fill. I wouldn't object to any landscaping along the 9G corridor, but I think it might be a little onerous, even though he agreed to do it, to bring in a lot of fill just to reduce the impact of the height of it over ground level.
Well, what would you want for shrubbery?
A nice,
Not little flowers.
nice arborvitae might be nice.
Arborvitae won't survive by the road. It's not salt tolerant.
That's what?
It's not salt tolerant. It's
Yeah.
not good by the road.
But it's pretty far from the road, so.
Okay.
Okay, is that how everyone else feels?
Good with that?
This is
the fence on the corner of Van Wyck Drive and number 2.
I'm okay with the
It's too high.
change from landfill to some kind of
You know,
a break, but I would
that
like,
fence is just too high. and-
excuse me. I wasn't,
And it doesn't
I really
look
wasn't
good,
talking.
and
I don't think she heard you.
She was called on before you were.
no, she wasn't.
Oh, she was? Okay. Can you repeat that, Carmen? Mr. Grace was talking at the same time.
He is. No, that fence, when I looked at it the other day, and then I look at the picture, it's too high, and it's just there, it's 3.5, 4.5 feet. And if they're wanting the privacy, if you look at the fence, looking down at
Look into your mic.
looking down at the house, it's, even a shorter fence would cover the window there. I mean, anyway, I will vote no on this one.
I didn't really think that the fence was too high. I think it's back far enough. It doesn't create that stockade problem that we're often concerned about. And it was one of several that were visible from this fence that were also being used in the neighborhood, and I would imagine for the same reason.
Right.
So I don't really have a problem with it. I thought it was a nice fence. It wasn't white.
I think the
One of the
parcel.
nicer fences we've seen in a while.
The parcel is unique in its location and its proximity to, various, environments around there. So, you want to do the motion?
Can we go back to where we were about the,
Oh, I'm sorry, we skipped Mr. Grace. Go ahead.
going back to Paul. Instead of the landfill, would you be willing to put in some kind of shrubbery? I mean, not peonies, not something like that, but
Can't talk,
No.
Can't talk.
be willing to put in.
If you want to
Yes,
condition.
I would like to condition it that there's some kind of a blockage, especially on the side that is parallel to the front of the house. Something maybe 5 feet, 4 to 5 feet tall to start with, and then you can get them, they're relatively inexpensive. It's gotta be cheaper than landfill.
Some sort of a hedge or something that breaks it up.
Something that breaks
doesn't
that,
make it look
something that breaks that big
high
stagger up.
as it is.
For Cynthia to work, something that grows,
Grows
just to
fast.
break that, right, spreads, it grows fast. It's gotta be cheaper than landfill.
Okay,
I'd be okay with that.
you're up, Tony.
Okay, I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 2. This decision is based on a review of the application, testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in a public hearing, the result of site visits by board members, and in approving this variance, the board adopts its findings and determinations found in item 1 through 5. Whether an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or detriment to nearby properties will be created by granting the area variance. Although the fence is a 6-foot fence, because of the topography of the land, and we don't feel that an undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood. There are other fences of the same character in the site of the home. Whether benefits sought by the applicant could be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than the area variance. I think the applicant made a very good case for that this was the probably the best solution, given, again, the location of the property and its proximity to Route 9D, and also the topography. Whether the requested area variance is substantial. Yes, it is substantial in the sense that it's authorizing a 6-foot fence where a 3.5-foot fence is authorized because of the items mentioned earlier. Consider that it is reasonable. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical environment conditions of the neighborhood or district. Don't feel that will be the case. The fence does not provide any line of sight problems, even especially since it's a corner lot. It's well set back from the road and is in keeping with character. The approval for this variance is subject to the following conditions, though, that we would like substantial plantings and landscaping to be provided somewhere in the area of was 3 to 4 feet mentioned as a start, but to help lessen the impact of the stockade look of the fence, although it is a very nice looking fence to begin with.
Nice job. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
1, no. Okay, you're good. Okay, which one you said? Okay, we're gonna do number 3, 199 North Grand Avenue. Okay. What's your pleasure on this one?
This is the other fence?
This is the other.
This is the other fence.
We started with Paul? Or we just starting?
Yeah, I didn't see that he offered any real benefit to him. And so I'd be
I didn't see it either. I tried to see it, but I couldn't. The only reason he said was that he did want to look at.
I mean, the one side where the RV or the camper or whatever it is goes, maybe I could see it on that side, certainly not on the other side. I discount the concerns about the line of sight stuff. I didn't see that it impacted on any of the roadways or any of the safety things. And I don't know that he made a case enough that for his security and those sorts of things. I think that he can bring the fence can exist up until the front of the garage. And if he wants to put a gate across it, he can do that. And I think that would offer much more security than continuing it out towards the road, and that would have less of an effect on the environment and the neighborhood.
Right, and he has plenty of fenced-in area to keep his camper and whatever else he needs to keep secure. How's everybody else feel?
I'm good with that. I think it poses, I think it detracts from the neighborhood and it poses safety issues as well. And, security, it's a non-issue because all you have to do is walk around.
Exactly.
Hello?
Yeah.
So, I don't see that he made his case at all.
Okay, so, Carmen, you want to make a motion to deny?
And we're talking both sides, right?
Both sides,
Yes.
everything in front of the
Yeah,
house.
everything in front of the house.
But he
Everything in
can cut it.
non-compliance, right?
He could take it down 3.5 feet.
He can take down
Yes,
3.5
he could,
feet.
that's his prerogative, right?
So
Okay.
no taller than, right?
Okay.
Okay. This is number
3.
3. Okay. I move that the board deny the request for a variance set forth in item number 3. This decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in the public hearing, the results of site visits by board members, and the staff report. In approving it, in denying this variance, the board adopts as findings the determinations found in items 1 through 5.
No, wait. Now, Lisa, do we have to go through each one, or can we just say that, the applicant failed to,
Oh, no. I'm like,
You can say that the applicant failed to meet that his burden to But also, I mean, we have the testimony. I will write it up as the board discussed in its deliberations.
Then failed to prove the need or substantiate the need for the variance. Okay, that works. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. What else we got?
So you got number 7.
Evelyn, did we do
That's the
that?
last one. No, she's
No,
not
that.
here.
We got more.
We did that
We
one.
didn't do.
Number 1 and
we didn't
number
do the
7.
pavilion.
Number
Oh, I'm
one?
sorry, number 1 and number 7. you
Oh,
did.
I have 7. Yeah, that we didn't do
Yeah.
7 either.
And 1 and 7.
We're very,
I'm done.
we're very confused tonight.
Good night.
We're very confused on this side of the table.
Oh,
That's what you're missing.
Oh, one.
Let's do
Number
one
1,
first. Let's do
Camelot Road, and
Yep.
then number 7.
Espinoza.
Right. All right, let's do Espinoza. This one is a tad confusing as well. He doesn't have exact dimensions. It appears, it says it's 3 feet. I guess it's 3 feet. Does anyone have another opinion? I mean, do you feel comfortable with voting on this?
Paul challenged him and he said it's a little over 3 feet.
If the board were to grant a variance for 3 feet and it were somehow determined that it were closer than 3 feet, the applicant would have a problem and would have to remove the structure or come for a new variance. So it's not the board's requirement to determine whether it's actually 3 feet. Here, the testimony was that the wall was 3 feet and the poles for the pavilion would be slightly inside the wall, but the roof was slightly overhanging. So
My recollection is that we measure it from the
closest point.
from the post and not the overhang. That's my recollection. Is that incorrect?
I don't know, that's what I was,
It's actually a Sarah zoning administrator question. Where it gets measured from. But at any event, wherever it gets measured from, the applicant has asked for to be not closer than 3 feet. So it's his obligation to build a structure that's not closer than 3 feet.
okay. Anybody have any comments?
We were just, in the past, we've gone from the edge of the roof line on some of these. I mean, is it 6 and 1, half a dozen? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
That was your question. Where do we go from?
The building department will determine.
But like you
once it-
said, if it's over, they're gonna make them slide it before they
Correct.
grant it. Just like
The issue is, he's requested a 3-foot variance.
if we
If the
give it to him
board-
and he violates it, then it's,
They'll either issue an order to remedy, or hopefully before he goes to build, there'll be a clarification about where the 3 foot gets measured
Yeah,
from
I'm
with
okay
the
with
building
that.
department. And
it throws a burden back on him.
Okay, you all right with that?
I'm good.
he's got the pylons planted in the stonework that's there already.
Maybe the question is, if we measure, do they measure from the overhang or from the pylon? Nobody seems to know right now.
Well, that's really,
And it may make a difference because it's an open structure, so.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah. Well, he's not.
Let them duke
If
it
it
out.
was a canopy that didn't have like permanent fixtures into the ground or whatever, would it need? It wouldn't even be here, right? Okay. All right, Phyllis?
there's a seeker, is there a seeker on?
No.
No.
Type
Short-
2.
No.
Type 2, okay. I move the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in item number 1. This decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, testimony offered in public hearing, the results of site visits by board members, and the following findings.
Okay, I think that it's typical in today's neighborhoods to see outdoor recreational facilities for family recreation, and whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method. Not really, because what he wants to do is protect what he has there already from the environment. So he would have to put the canopy over the little kitchen that he already has set up in there. Whether the requested area variance is substantial, well, it's more than, he needs a 7-foot variance, so yeah, it is substantial, but that doesn't keep it, or that doesn't preclude from granting the variance. And whether the difficulty was self-created, certainly it was in the fact that the little kitchen and the backyard and all the facilities that he has there is self-created, but now he wants to protect that with a pavilion.
You skipped number 4, the environmental.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, let's see. Because I scribbled over it probably. Oh, whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district. Probably not. There are lots of facilities in backyards in the town with the same type of canopies without showing any negative impact. You okay with those?
Yes, I'm good.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Number 7?
Number 7 now.
Oh, Marist College, oh no, that's not Marist.
Boulevard Knolls.
Pool,
We're doing Boulevard Knolls.
Or no, oh, yeah,
deck.
okay. That's why I couldn't find it, because where is it? Oh, here it is. Okay, I move that the board approve the request for an area variance set forth in number 7. This decision is based on a review of the application, the testimony of the applicant, the testimony offered in the public hearing, and the results of site visit by board members. And approving this variance, the board adopt as findings as about to be read. Whether the undesirable change will be produced in the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties will be created by the granting of the area variance. The pool is in back of the house, but the rear yard is very small and shallow. Really, that is making the need for a variance. Whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some other method feasible for the applicant to pursue other than an area variance. No, because it is the only flat area almost in the entire parcel that is available for the applicant to use for this purpose. Whether the requested area variance is substantial, yes, but that does not preclude the granting of the variance. Whether the proposed variance will have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. Above-ground pools are typical fixtures in a lot of backyards and have not proven to be have any adverse impact. Whether the alleged difficulty was self-created, it was actually self-created because the desire for the pool is what prompted the application for the variance, but the topography of the parcel and the size of the rear yard is really more responsible for the need for a variance. Otherwise, the applicant would be denied the pleasure of having a pool that most people in the town enjoy.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
Okay.
Now, what do we do with,
First, we can't visit the Ferris, no?
Marist just continued?
Marist is.
okay, all right. All right, so we're done?
Do you have to do anything about the,
Yes, we have to do the seekers. I make a motion that the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board be lead agency for Underhill Solar LLC, 130 and 122 Underhill Road.
can you do it for all of them?
Okay. All right, and the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board be lead agency on Forson's Apartments on Sheaf Road, and that the Town of Poughkeepsie Planning Board be lead agency on Oakwood Commons, Homewood Suites South Road.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Can't talk anymore.
Really?
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.